I'm doing my book talk on Wit and Wizard by James Patterson. This is a 5-book series, and this is the first one. I am on a James Patterson kick this whole month, so yep, gonna get started with this. So this book, you have Wit Algood and Witsy Witsy. That's so weird to say. Algood, they're brother and sister. Witsy full name is Wisteria something, and then Wit's whole name is like Whitford. They're brother and sister, and there's this new order formed. Basically, I believe this takes place in America. I'm not quite sure. They never specified if it was like the America or the UK. They mentioned a story called Garfunkel's, but I don't know what country that's in. I don't believe it's in America. I don't know. So basically, there's this new order of form, there's this new way of living, and they are just teenagers. Witsy is 15, Wit is about a month away from being 18 when the book starts. And they're not really paying attention to the news that there was this whole new government formed. They don't care. Then one night they get arrested in the middle of the night, their parents are dragged away, and they're dragged away to prison, and about a third of this book takes place with them just in this prison. And they have this old Brian something. He was their arch enemy at high school. He's there. He's now part of the New Order Reform. He admits that he was responsible for his sister's death because he didn't follow the rules or something. And I would just sat there like, you know, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with this whole society? They have this trial, and it's laughable. And then at one point, Witsy, oh my god, I can't say that, who is a witch, turns horseflies, and then there's cockroaches everywhere, and it's very funny. But then they're notified as extremely dangerous. Basically, you're supposed to get executed at 18, but Wit is a month away from 18, and Witsy is quite a few years away from 15, from 18. She is currently 15. And so, then they're condemned as extremely dangerous, meaning it doesn't matter they don't give a damn. They're just going to execute them. And basically, when they were first arrested in the house, you discover that Witsy has this really cool power of turning her whole body into fire. She's just a giant fireball, just exactly how you're imagining it. That's it. Sets a whole stuff on fire if you piss her off enough. At the end of the book, she can do it if she wants to, and then she can undo it, deflame herself. She's not hurt, not hot, not anything. Just feels like, you know, a hot summer day. And then Wit's missing girlfriend is named Celia, and she went missing like 2 months prior, and then when he's in prison he's starting to get dreams of her, and at one point Wit puts his head in the wall and he sees these shadows, and he sees Celia, and he's like, you know, he wants her to come back. And then Celia is the one who gets him out of that prison. It's a very, very, very fast-paced novel. Even when they're in prison, there's some entertainment. She was killed. She was murdered for knowing Wit, and she's in this place called the Shadowland, and apparently there's 5 forms of reality, and the Shadowland is one of them, and you have to travel to all 5, is what the end prophecy says about Wit and Witsy. And so she helps escape by going into the Shadowland, but the time is very different in the Shadowland, so they go in the Shadowland, and they come out, and it's been about a month. So, then they go to Garfunkel's, basically this giant bunk, and Wit and Witsy are there, and their main goal is to find their parents, because when they were being drove back from the prison, they saw wanted dead or alive and faces of their parents, so they're like, you know what, we're going to find them, it's going to be over with, yeah. And one of the guys named Sasha, lies to them and says that their parents is at this prison, and if they help them get kids out of the prison, then they will help them find their parents. And it's just, you have this dying moment later. They go to the prison to help them escape. Witsy turns herself into a mouse so she can go up this little drain pipe. She falls, and she almost gets eaten to death by giant rats, and then she turns back to human form, and she's putting on this ex-convict costume, jumpsuit, and she does end up getting seen by one of the guards, and she's running, and there's this moment where she's on the pipe, and she trips over this rope, and she slides down, and she lands on the body of the, they called himself the Visitor. He was basically the torturer. When they were in their first prison, he just had this whip, and he would just take it out on them, because they can do magic, they can't, they're scared of us. And then when Witchy does get into the prison jail cell, this one girl says they're afraid of us, and she uses that as motivation, and she sets herself on fire, and she's running down the hallway, she's letting the kids out, but she's like opening her arms, the guards are catching on fire, she's like joking behind her, drop and roll, you idiots, setting the whole building on fire, finally escaping. Meanwhile, the parallel time to this, Wit gets in the van with the kids that was being hauled there, and they drive it to a subway, and they think it's abandoned, and it's not. So you have that movie scene where you're driving away from the train, and because Wood is a wizard, he creates this turnoff they go into, and he makes the train go left, and he goes right, and you have that thrilling moment, and then he gets in the Garfunkels, and they hide the rescue van or the death machine, and he goes back to Witchy, and right as they are, that's when the building is catching fire and hundreds of kids are storming out, and then the one who is the one shows up, and Witchy passes out, and he says the prophecy, how they're going to restore order, they must go to all the realities, but they will be executed in the end. And which is weird, because in the intro you start it with them publicly right before the execution, and in the end, when they decide they will be going on more rescue missions, they stop at this like little house, and they see this illusion of their parents. Celia cannot be rescued back from the dead. Nobody could do that. Even though Wit and Witchy are supposedly these more powerful witches, and so you're left with the illusion. They have to find their parents. You have the execution somewhere within the next 4 books. The second one is The Gift. So I gave this 5 stars because I read this in like 3 days. You do not get bored reading this. So I am Anna. Thank you for watching. Bye.